Welcome. So this is the intro to the therapeutics course, and so you'll get like 5 or 10 minutes of the intro and then I'll cut it off. And this is the shoulder segment. So the method is called samyama. Samyama is a Sanskrit word. It means this combined effort of to concentrate, to meditate, and then to become absorbed or assimilated into the thing that you're focusing on, the picture, the object, the form. Here we're not going to get like mystical, like originally samyama might be like you contemplate the form of a deity or something and then you just keep focusing on it and become that deity kind of thing. That's where you get people, their names are like Shiva or whatever. What we're doing is just very practical, a muscle, a picture of a muscle, and a little bit of knowledge about where on my skeleton does it attach, what joints maybe does it cross, what action does it do, what does that look like when it does the action, and how do you do it? And in particular, it's an isolation. So that means nothing else engaged. There are a couple things that engage, like your heart is going to keep going. Your diaphragm will keep going a little bit. But for example, you can let go of your tongue right now. And that's something that does not need to be engaged, but it chronically is in most people. So this practice, this samyama practice, which is mostly laying on your back, for the shoulders, we do a couple of kneeling things, but it's super gentle. You might get bored, you might yawn. It doesn't offend me if you yawn, like whatever. This is the method. This is the method to develop a couple of things. One, you're gonna develop a connection to these muscles. Like an actual, just like a baby that doesn't know how to move one finger from another, you'll learn how to move one muscle independent of other muscles, which is super cool when you're doing things like back bending or arm balancing and you feel a little pinch in the front of the shoulder or something like that, and you engage a couple of muscles, I'll tell you which ones, and you'll feel the pressure will release. You will balance the tension forces around that joint in a way that will lengthen how long you can do this kind of practice for. The other thing is it develops your concentration. It develops your patience. And you'll probably get frustrated with the things that we do because it won't come easy. And I've done so many repetitions of these, like tens of thousands probably at this point, that it's not that I'm different or special from you in that capacity. It's just practice. You know, you can learn how to write with your non-dominant hand if you just practice a few hundred times. You know, I'm brushing my teeth lately with my non-dominant hand, and I'm pretty good now. I'm almost as good as my right hand. It's been about less than 2 months now. So it happens, it comes. It's just step by step, day by day. And so if you don't get it now, I have a lot on my YouTube. What we do in the shoulder section in particular, the hips and spine is not so much on my YouTube, but the shoulders, a lot of these activations are on my YouTube. Those that aren't, I have a product on my website that compiles them, and I put a lot of effort into that. And you're going to get a new reference for what is calmness, a new reference for what is relaxation. And there are a couple of physiological reasons for this. One is there's tension. There's residue of tension in a lot of your muscles that when you begin to focus on one muscle, the tension in the other muscles becomes apparent. When you have a tension in a muscle, and that's the muscle that we're actually isolating, through the pulsing repetition that I'll be describing, the pulsing contraction of the muscle, you will coax it into relaxing. And another would be the antagonist of that muscle. You have a muscle, let's say serratus anterior. Serratus anterior is, you'll see it's on the side of the chest, it pushes the shoulder blade forward. A lot of you may, if you do the aerials, have tension in your rhomboids. Pulling, lots of pulling, and it's a residue tension. They're antagonists, the rhomboids and serratus anterior. They're on either side of the shoulder blade. You'll see this if you don't know already. And so by contracting the agonist, the antagonist releases. This is why when you do a forward bend, you contract your quadriceps. It helps your hamstrings lengthen. You notice it's called the reciprocal relaxation reflex. So it's a reflex of the spine. That when I push and my tricep firms, my bicep is soft. And when I pull, my bicep is firm, but my tricep is soft. So the antagonist naturally wants to let go. You can co-activate, that's called a bandha, and So you can kind of, through force of will, do both bicep and tricep. But in our relaxation practice where you're laying down and you're isolating the serratus, the rhomboids will let go. Or if you isolate the rhomboids, the serratus will let go. Most people don't have a chronically tight serratus. I've worked with acrobats that do, but most yogis don't. But this is a method to tap into how to relax. You contract the agonist, it eventually releases, and it releases the antagonist at the same time. So people, a lot of times, I get massaged sometimes, and they're amazed at how soft my body is. Like, I know I have a relatively relaxed lifestyle. I don't sit at a desk too much, although it's more than you think, being a traveling yogi. But my body is very, very soft. It has to do with how I breathe and these isolations. This is how I drive 11 hours across Texas, and I arrive, and I'm still pretty mobile. I'm just contracting muscles as I'm driving. You know, my deep external hip rotator so that my hip flexors release. And I show up and I can still do a back bend as soon as I arrive. So, you know, that's the potential of it. It eventually brings you somewhere else. It's just a process. This isn't the end, but this is really good for physical therapeutics, mental therapeutics, and just relaxing, feeling good. Thanks for tuning in, subscribe, and I'll catch you maybe at an event one day. Bye-bye.